Imagine hearing the words, "It's twins," and feeling your heart expand and race at the same time. In a single moment, joy doubles, but so does the responsibility, the fear, the anticipation, and the unknown. A twin pregnancy is not simply twice the preparation. It is an entirely new emotional landscape that challenges your strength, reshapes your identity, and tests your resilience in ways you never expected. The excitement is real, but so is the mental overload, the silent anxiety, and the overwhelming wave of, "Can I really do this?" Today, we're not just talking about preparing a nursery for 2 babies. We're talking about preparing your mind, your heart, and your support system for one of the most intense and transformative journeys of your life: twin pregnancy. Psychological preparation for having 2 babies at once, addressing the importance of mental health, family support, and emotional strategies for coping with the overload. This is not just a medical journey, it is an emotional revolution. When 2 lives grow inside you simultaneously, your thoughts, expectations, and fears multiply alongside them. The mental preparation becomes as vital as prenatal care, because the emotional foundation you build now will shape your experience of motherhood later. In this video, we will explore how to strengthen your mindset, protect your mental health, and create a support system that sustains you when the days feel overwhelming. If you believe that emotional readiness matters as much as physical readiness, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with someone who may need this support. Twin pregnancy. Psychological preparation for having 2 babies at once, addressing the importance of mental health, family support, and emotional strategies for coping with the overload. These words carry a profound weight because discovering that 2 babies are growing simultaneously transforms excitement into a complex emotional experience. The mind immediately begins calculating logistics, imagining sleepless nights, financial adjustments, and the constant balancing act that lies ahead. While society often romanticizes twins as double blessings, few conversations openly explore the psychological adaptation required to embrace such an intense transition. The mental shift begins long before delivery. It starts in the moment acceptance replaces shock. Understanding that your emotional health will directly influence your resilience becomes the first step in this journey. Preparing your thoughts, expectations, and inner dialogue is not optional. It is foundational. Without intentional mental preparation, anxiety can quietly take control, amplifying fears and diminishing confidence. Recognizing this early allows you to cultivate awareness instead of overwhelm, ensuring that the joy of anticipation is not overshadowed by silent mental strain. The initial reaction to a twin pregnancy often oscillates between exhilaration and fear, creating a psychological roller coaster that can feel destabilizing. Hormonal changes intensify emotions, and the realization that responsibilities will double may trigger self-doubt. Questions such as whether you will be capable of meeting 2 babies' needs simultaneously can linger persistently. It is essential to normalize these concerns rather than suppress them. Acknowledging vulnerability does not weaken maternal strength. Instead, it strengthens it by allowing honest self-reflection. Emotional suppression often leads to burnout later, whereas confronting fears early creates room for strategic coping. Psychological preparation involves identifying triggers, understanding stress responses, and developing calming techniques that can be applied both during pregnancy and postpartum. Breathing exercises, mindfulness practices, and journaling can help process the magnitude of the experience. When thoughts are organized and fears are articulated, they lose some of their intensity. By transforming overwhelming feelings into structured awareness, you begin building emotional endurance that will sustain you through the months ahead. Mental health during a twin pregnancy requires deliberate attention because the demands placed on the body often mirror the demands placed on the mind. Physical fatigue tends to arrive earlier and with greater intensity, and exhaustion directly influences mood regulation. When energy levels drop, anxiety and irritability can rise, creating emotional turbulence. Recognizing this connection empowers you to treat rest as a psychological necessity rather than a luxury. Prioritizing sleep, even in fragmented patterns, becomes part of your mental health strategy. Furthermore, maintaining regular communication with healthcare providers about emotional fluctuations is crucial, as twin pregnancies carry higher risks of prenatal and postpartum mood disorders. Seeking professional guidance when needed is not an admission of inadequacy but a proactive act of self-protection. The emotional landscape of caring to babies is complex, and professional support can provide reassurance and coping tools. By integrating mental health check-ins into prenatal care, you create a safety net that protects not only you but also the environment into which your babies will be born. Family support becomes one of the most significant pillars in psychological preparation for twins. Attempting to manage everything independently may seem admirable, but it often leads to exhaustion and emotional isolation. Preparing your partner, relatives, and close friends for the reality of dual newborn care is an essential step that should begin during pregnancy. Honest conversations about expectations, division of responsibilities, and contingency plans create clarity and reduce future tension. Emotional support is equally important as physical assistance. Feeling understood and validated can alleviate feelings of overwhelm. When your support system recognizes the magnitude of what you are undertaking, they are more likely to respond with empathy rather than unrealistic expectations. Delegating tasks before exhaustion sets in prevents resentment from building later. Psychological readiness includes learning to ask for help without guilt, understanding that shared responsibility strengthens family bonds. Building this network in advance ensures that when challenges arise, you are not navigating them alone. The concept of overload becomes central when preparing mentally for twins, because overstimulation can quickly become the norm. To infants crying simultaneously, to feeding schedules overlapping, and constant multitasking can strain even the most organized individual. Anticipating this sensory intensity helps reduce shock later. Visualization techniques can be particularly effective. Imagining realistic scenarios and mentally rehearsing responses builds familiarity. Instead of fearing chaos, you begin to see it as a manageable rhythm. Cognitive reframing also plays a powerful role in psychological preparation. Rather than interpreting challenges as personal failures, you can view them as expected phases of twin parenthood. This shift reduces self-criticism and preserves confidence. Creating structured routines before birth may also provide comfort, as predictability lowers stress. While flexibility remains essential, having a framework helps anchor your mind. By acknowledging that overload will occur and preparing strategies in advance, you transform potential panic into planned resilience, reducing emotional volatility during the early months. Identity transformation is another profound psychological aspect of twin pregnancy. Becoming a parent already alters self-perception, but becoming a parent to two infants simultaneously accelerates that transformation. Many individuals struggle with the fear of losing their sense of self amidst constant caregiving demands. Preparing mentally involves redefining identity rather than abandoning it. You are not replacing who you were. You are expanding into a more complex version of yourself. Reflecting on personal values and long-term goals during pregnancy helps maintain continuity between past and future identities. Scheduling time for personal reflection, hobbies, or quiet moments reinforces individuality. When identity remains intact, emotional stability improves. Without intentional preservation of selfhood, resentment or emotional depletion may emerge. Psychological preparation includes accepting that certain sacrifices are temporary while ensuring that your core identity remains respected. This balance strengthens confidence and reduces the emotional shock that can accompany sudden lifestyle changes. Managing expectations is essential when addressing mental health in twin pregnancies. Society often portrays twin parenting through idealized images of synchronized smiles and coordinated outfits, overlooking the raw exhaustion behind the scenes. Unrealistic expectations can intensify disappointment and self-judgment. Preparing psychologically requires embracing imperfection as part of the process. Not every feeding will be harmonious, not every day will feel magical, and not every moment will reflect social media portrayals. By consciously rejecting comparison, you protect your mental peace. Gratitude practices can help maintain perspective, focusing on small victories rather than perceived shortcomings. Celebrating minor achievements, such as successfully calming both babies, builds momentum. This mindset shift encourages resilience instead of discouragement. Realistic expectations do not diminish joy. They create space for authentic joy to emerge. When you approach twin parenthood with flexibility rather than perfectionism, you reduce internal pressure and create a healthier emotional climate for yourself and your growing family. Communication within partnerships becomes even more critical during a twin pregnancy. Emotional strain can amplify misunderstandings if concerns are not addressed early. Discussing fears openly, sharing anticipated challenges, and aligning parenting philosophies help prevent future conflict. Partners may process the news of twins differently, and recognizing these differences fosters empathy. Scheduled conversations dedicated to emotional check-ins can strengthen connection. Rather than allowing stress to erode intimacy, proactive communication transforms it into collaboration. Joint planning for nighttime routines, financial adjustments, and work-life balance builds confidence. Feeling united reduces feelings of isolation, which are common in overwhelming circumstances. Emotional transparency also models healthy coping strategies for the family dynamic. When both partners acknowledge vulnerability and support each other, resilience multiplies. Psychological preparation for twins is not an individual task but a shared journey that thrives on honest dialogue and mutual reassurance. Anxiety management becomes a daily practice during a twin pregnancy, particularly because medical risks may be higher compared to singleton pregnancies. Increased appointments and monitoring can heighten worry. Developing structured coping strategies prevents medical vigilance from turning into chronic stress. Techniques such as guided relaxation, positive visualization, and limiting excessive online research can protect mental stability. While staying informed is beneficial, constant exposure to worst-case scenarios may amplify fear unnecessarily. Establishing boundaries around information intake maintains balance. Trusting medical professionals and focusing on present progress rather than hypothetical complications reduces mental strain. It is important to differentiate between preparation and obsession. Healthy preparation involves awareness and planning, whereas obsession drains emotional energy. By consciously choosing calm responses, you strengthen your ability to navigate uncertainty. This mindset not only benefits pregnancy but also prepares you for the unpredictability of raising two children simultaneously. Postpartum preparation is another dimension of psychological readiness that should not be overlooked. The transition after birth can feel abrupt, especially with two newborns requiring simultaneous attention. Anticipating hormonal shifts, sleep deprivation, and emotional sensitivity prepares you to recognize normal adjustments versus warning signs of postpartum depression or anxiety. Creating a postpartum support plan during pregnancy reduces vulnerability. Arranging meal assistance, scheduling visitors thoughtfully, and identifying emergency contacts provides reassurance. Mental rehearsal of nighttime awakenings and tandem feeding routines builds confidence. Accepting that exhaustion will occur prevents self-blame. Self-compassion becomes a critical emotional strategy during this stage. Recognizing limits and honoring them protects long-term mental health. Psychological preparation does not eliminate fatigue, but it reduces shock and panic when challenges arise. By entering postpartum with awareness rather than idealized fantasies, you build resilience grounded in realism. The role of extended family and community networks significantly influences emotional sustainability. Accepting community involvement may feel uncomfortable for those accustomed to independence, yet twins often require collective effort. Coordinating childcare assistance, rotating visits, or participating in twin parent support groups creates solidarity. Hearing experiences from others who have navigated similar journeys normalizes struggles and offers practical solutions. Shared stories diminish feelings of isolation and reinforced hope. Community validation reassures you that overwhelm is temporary and manageable. Building these connections before delivery ensures smoother transitions afterward. Social support has been repeatedly linked to improved mental health outcomes, particularly in high-demand parenting situations. By intentionally cultivating community ties, you create a web of encouragement that catches you during vulnerable moments. Emotional resilience thrives when reinforced by collective strength. Financial planning also intersects with psychological preparation. as economic stress can amplify anxiety. Anticipating additional expenses, budgeting realistically, and discussing financial strategies early prevent future panic. Financial clarity contributes to emotional stability. Consulting advisors or researching cost-saving strategies empowers decision-making. While financial concerns are valid, proactive planning transforms fear into manageable tasks. Emotional overwhelm often decreases when uncertainties are addressed directly. By aligning financial expectations with practical plans, you reduce one significant source of stress. Psychological readiness involves acknowledging practical realities without allowing them to dominate mental space. Balanced preparation fosters confidence rather than dread. Self-care during twin pregnancy must be redefined as essential maintenance rather than indulgence. Physical discomfort may increase, making emotional regulation more challenging. Gentle movement, balanced nutrition, and intentional relaxation techniques enhance both physical and psychological endurance. Carving out moments of quiet reflection reinforces mental clarity. Even brief periods of solitude can restore perspective. Self-care also includes setting boundaries with well-meaning individuals who may offer unsolicited advice. Protecting emotional space preserves stability. When self-care becomes habitual, resilience strengthens naturally. Caring for yourself models the compassion you will later extend to your children. Psychological preparation flourishes when self-respect is prioritized consistently. Emotional flexibility becomes one of the most valuable skills in twin parenthood. Rigidity often leads to frustration when plans change unexpectedly. Cultivating adaptability during pregnancy trains the mind to adjust gracefully. Practicing scenario planning while remaining open to variation builds balanced expectations. Emotional flexibility reduces catastrophic thinking and encourages problem solving. Rather than interpreting setbacks as failures, you begin to see them as temporary adjustments. This mindset reduces stress hormones and promotes calm responses. Twin parenting will inevitably involve unpredictability, and mental agility becomes a protective factor against burnout. Gratitude, though sometimes overshadowed by fatigue, can serve as an anchoring emotional strategy. Recognizing the uniqueness of carrying two lives simultaneously fosters appreciation even amidst difficulty. Writing daily reflections about positive moments strengthens optimism. Gratitude does not deny hardship, it balances it. This emotional equilibrium prevents negativity from dominating perspective. By integrating gratitude into psychological preparation, you cultivate resilience grounded in acknowledgement of both struggle and beauty. The coexistence of challenge and blessing defines twin pregnancy, and embracing both enhances emotional maturity. Ultimately, twin pregnancy, psychological preparation for having two babies at once. Addressing the importance of mental health, family support, and emotional strategies for coping with the overload is about intentional awareness. It is about recognizing that strength is built through preparation, not perfection. The journey will demand patience, vulnerability, and collaboration. By nurturing mental health, cultivating support, and developing adaptive coping mechanisms, you lay the foundation for sustainable parenthood. Emotional readiness transforms fear into focused determination. While the path may be intense, it is also profoundly transformative. Preparing your mind ensures that when your babies arrive, you greet them not only with love, but with resilience. Preparing for twins is not about eliminating fear, it is about building the emotional strength to move forward despite it. When you care for your mental health, nurture supportive relationships, and practice adaptive strategies, you create a stable foundation for your growing family. The journey may feel overwhelming at times, but within that intensity lies extraordinary growth. Two babies will not only transform your schedule, they will transform your heart, your resilience, and your understanding of love. By preparing psychologically, you give yourself permission to embrace both the challenge and the beauty of this experience. And in that balance, you discover that you are far stronger than you ever imagined.